Welcome to this week's episode of 5 Minutes of Management. As always, I'm Frank Kalman along with Rick Bell. Rick, do you own a self-driving car yet? Nope, because we're about to find out on today's episode that technology will have a profound influence on the workforce. We're also going to chat about the high cost of financial stress on the workplace. But Rick, let's start with that first bit of news. A new U.S. government report outlined this week that self-driving cars could transform jobs held by 1 in 9 U.S. workers. About 3.8 million people drive trucks, taxis, ambulances, and other vehicles for a living, reports the Wall Street Journal. And some 11.7 workers drive a vehicle as part of their work. This includes personal care aides, police officers, real estate agents, plumbers, or roughly 11.3% of the total employment-based workforce in 2015. If businesses embrace autonomous vehicles as expected, workers in the first category are likely going to be displaced from their jobs, while workers in the second category may be more likely to benefit from greater productivity. So Rick, what do you think about this? Do self-driving cars make journalists more productive? I mean, what do you think?
Frank, have you ever ridden with a journalist before? It's like a white knuckle ride. No, I would never ride with a journalist, to be quite honest with you, not even with myself. But I tell you, Frank, there's a whole nother industry that you're not even addressing, and that's the auto insurance industry. And I'm serious about this. I mean, we're talking about literally a $200 billion global industry. And what's it going to do to that? And what about the ambulance chasers like Glenn Lerner? You know, 222, 22, 22. You know, you've got that. And what about Flo and that cute little gecko? I mean, we're going to be displacing all these people from potential jobs. And seriously, it has a wide-ranging effect. And especially in jobs, you know, sales jobs where people are out driving a lot. No, Frank, it's going to have a huge effect. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest things that you're going to see in terms of technology change over the course of the next 20 years.
Can't lose flow.
No.
So Rick, what else we got?
Money may be the root of all evil there, Frank, but it's also the source of great stress. A new study from Mercer reveals that financial stress could cost U.S. employers $250 billion in lost wages annually. That's equal to the GDP of Finland and Jamaica combined, Mon. Employees reported spending 150 hours annually of their work time worrying about money. On a total U.S. wage bill of $5 trillion, this could end up costing employers, like I said, $250 billion in lost wages each year. But there is a silver lining here, Frank. The survey also says that employees with access to financial wellness programs have over twice the job satisfaction and higher levels of trust than those without access. Driven by these factors, we are seeing a significant increase in the number of employers developing financial wellness programs. So Frank, what's in your wallet?
Well, Rick, this is a good move on companies. I think financial wellness is an emerging issue, and it doesn't surprise me that folks are struggling. What do we hear those studies every year about how people don't have $500 to cover an emergency expense or something? So people, get your act together, get a piggy bank and stop spending so much money on tacos or whatever you spend money on. Either way, Americans, have to get more conscious about how they spend and more in tune with saving. And I think companies bear a great responsibility in this. And as you're showing, it's a loss on productivity.
It really is true, Frank. Retirement accounts still are in crisis mode for many people, and study after study bears that out. And here, even though we're in an uptick in the economy, really, we're seeing that financial stress is still a huge part of the workforce. And during the recession in 2009, 2010, this was commonplace. But here that we're in, again, a good spate of the economy, we're seeing that there's still a lot of financial stress out there.
And it's not just people spending money on tacos. I mean, there are legitimate, we get the rising cost of higher ed that is a drag on household income, and just many other expenses that are making life challenging for people financially. It's good that companies are deciding to come in and help address this problem.
Yeah, and that there's actually organizations that are filling that need, so that they see that there's this need for financial wellness, and they are working on it.
That's all the time we have for this week's episode of 5 Minutes of Management. For Rick Bell, I'm Frank Kalman. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Also follow us on Twitter at Workforce News. And of course, for additional workforce coverage, you can visit workforce.com. See you next time.